Today's video is all about QORPO World, craft next-gen IPs with single token. Today we're going to be doing a deep dive into this project, looking into some of the fundamentals, talking about the team, the tokenomics, utility, and the overall value proposition, trying to figure out whether this project has what it takes to make it to our portfolio for the up-and-coming bull run. So you know what, let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunity. And the question is QORPO World an opportunity? Guys, we're going to be doing a deep dive, looking into some of the fundamentals regarding this project. Obviously the team, tokenomics, utility, many aspects. We're going to be scraping through the main website here. As you can see, it's very engaging. We'll take a look at the white paper, some of the socials, the team. I got lots to show you guys today, and of course stay tuned till the end. I do have a nice summary, guys, and I have that infographic for you guys that I'm going to be posting on social, so you can get your hands on that as well. And for future, guys, if you want to get involved and vote on the next deep dive that I do cover in the next week, because I do one per week, join the Discord and place your requests and we can vote on the next deep dive. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here. The website looks great. The landing page is very colorful, very engaging. It gives you a real indication of what this the platform is about. Obviously it's a gaming platform, it's a gaming ecosystem, and what better way to demonstrate their value through amazing visuals. Look at this, guys, really nice. I appreciate the landing page. As we keep on going down, we can see craft next gen IPs with single token. Maybe the language is a little bit off in my opinion. Sure, we get the gist of it, but the grammar is not really the best. QORPO powerhouse, what does that even mean? Well, you can see that there's a bit happening here. We have their first IP, which is intellectual property, which would be their in-house game, Animate. I think that's what it is. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but fine. Creature extraction shooter with high risk reward to save, animates PvE game where you find your way home by collecting, exploring, and shooting, built in Unreal Engine 5. So the graphics should be great. As you can see, it looks pretty good. That's the one that majority of the visuals above, that's what it was showing us, nice and colorful. And then you have a Citizen Conflict. A few people, it's been buzzing around in the last little bit. It's a little bit more mature concept. Citizen Conflicts is a free-to-play hero shooter designed to merge the best of both worlds to deliver the competitive heat and so on. Ultimately, what comes to my mind here is the the economics behind free-to-play. Like, I'm hoping that there is an ability for an individual to grind through a game and still be able to earn eventually, the same way some people stake their capital. What about if we stake our time and put our time into it and want to grind and eventually earn that way? Because I've played free-to-play games where all the assets are cosmetic, they don't really add value to the game per se other than visuals, but then in order to earn, you got to spend thousands of dollars of in-game assets, and that's a barrier to entry in my opinion. So for me, that's a bit of an issue. Now I'm hoping that they have a totally different mindset here, where an individual can start very small, literally from the free-to-play stage, and literally grind through this and eventually earn and invest those earnings into potentially getting more out of their game and earning capabilities. So for me, this is pretty good. Let's keep on going. Gaming platform for gamers. So all of a sudden we have this, we have two games, and then this. I don't understand why this would be here, but fine. From gamers to gamers. It's a gaming studio. Infrastructure supports builders with a powerful Web3 ecosystem, offering blockchain integration through smart contracts, seamless RPC interface. Okay, basically what we're seeing here is a marketplace. Okay, that's pretty much it. Okay, marketplace where you can see all kinds of games and different assets and NFTs and so on and so forth. So a lot happening here. Okay, I would like to know more about this, and we're going to take a look at what else this website has to offer. By the way, guys, we're going to be using this website as a main platform to navigate this project, because ultimately we know that the retail investors coming here for information. They want to make sure, we got to make sure that the team is giving the retail investor everything they need to get fundamentally bullish. The website, the white papers, and everything else, but we really have to make sure that it's there, because in order to get these retail investors confident in getting in, what we basically will have to do is make sure that all the data is readily available. So we're going to be critiquing what's going on here from that front as well. Play our games, of course, we already talked about these two. These are the two games that they currently have. I wonder what app: adventure, action RPG, and multiplayer. Okay, you can see that these are the different categories that both these games fit in. As we keep on going down, there's a couple of things. Become part of the ecosystem and get diamond points for your loyalty. I like that whole statement right there, because ultimately that's where an individual that may not want to spend thousands of dollars on in-game assets might say, you know what, instead of paying with money or crypto, coins, whatever it is, I want to pay with my time and my loyalty and my commitment. I want to earn based on my commitment to the ecosystem. And basically, that's very valuable when you have a community that's committed. Very, very valuable, right? So QORPO Power: stake your QORPO tokens in any tier and enjoy the benefits. Okay, so you can stake, of course, the tokens, get rewarded various ways, diamond points, this and that. We have ecosystem rewards, and obviously the 30% APY. That kind of bothers me, guys, because that's a large number right there. And I still have PTSD from previous days when DeFi used to offer such high APYs. Things go bad. You got to ask yourself, where are they getting these this high APY? And this kind of bothers me, of course, guys. Be modest, you know. And right now, to be honest, locking up your tokens is not the greatest idea, because you will need to lock your tokens here, as you can see the last statement there. And we're currently in a really strong market where you might want to be taking a bit of profit here and there, and locking up your tokens will definitely prohibit you from doing that. So you want to be fluid at this current moment. You want to be liquid at this moment. You know, during a bear market, locking up is fine, but I'm sure the APY wasn't that high. You get my point, right? So these are critical decisions. Genesis Power: hold your Genesis NFTs. So NFTs were issued earlier on, and if you hold them, and you get rewarded, pretty much. Very, very simple. You get rewarded in in-game currencies, free spins for the rewards protocol, and diamond points, and so on and so forth, NFTs and this and that. Okay, so you can see that we have QORPO Power, Genesis Power, and now we have Ecosystem Power. Not holding any Genesis or QORPO tokens? Don't worry. You can earn diamond points by playing games and completing daily missions. So this for me is quite interesting, because it goes hand in hand with what I said with that play to earn, free to play type of platform, where, you know, by playing, you should be able to get rewarded regardless, even if it's a little bit, you know, so that you can slowly accumulate and grind your way up and build and build and build, and not have to invest such high amounts of capital. And that for me is super, super important, because I have played Web3 games in the past where in order to start earning, you literally have to buy thousands of dollars worth of NFTs, and any free assets or anything like that are just pretty much cosmetic, which, fine, they look cool, but what about the actual in-game experience and the ability to earn more? So we got to put some value somehow into the gamers' time, the same way we put some value in the gamers', let's say, capital for staking. What about time? Time is valuable. So ultimately, I think this is a good start. So if you want to know more, obviously read more there. Gaming Power, this has to kind of tie into that. We never forget our passionate gaming community. Do you love playing games? Play, have fun, and get rewarded. It's exactly what I mean, right? It's not just about earning a lot, even if it's a little bit. So I kind of like this. I kind of like this whole concept. Let's keep on going down. Let's see what else the website has to offer here. Available on your favorite platform. What does that mean? I guess it means a trading platform. So if you're interested in getting your hands on this token, it's available on KuCoin, Bybit, Gate, and Mexi, Uniswap. You know, these are fairly mainstream platforms, exchanges. They're mid-tier, you know, B-tier, you know, type of thing. Like, it's not a Coinbase, it's not a Binance, and so on. They're you know, this is the thing. These are very mainstream, but they're not the biggest. But ultimately, this is a good start. It could have a few more of these mid tiers, which would be obviously best for good for liquidity and volume and, you know, trading action. But pretty good start, right? We got to understand that this is a small market cap project as well. Okay, so we'll talk about tokenomics and many other aspects very, very soon. Just want to get through this website and kind of get a lay of the land at the current moment. Okay, so what other is said about them? Let's put it that way. Immutable X is everywhere at the current moment within gaming infrastructure, so that's pretty good. And I'm wondering, oh, there we go. We got the scrolling again. Cointelegraph, the future of money. Okay, Cointelegraph, they say a lot of things. Okay, great. They said some good stuff here. That's good. Let's get this rolling. Come on. Sure, Jen. I can't even read that. What is that? Collaborating with QORPO has been one of the most gratifying. Okay, some good statements. Great, good stuff. Join a QORPO ecosystem backed by industry leading partners. Problem. I don't like the word partners when I see logos of Binance, okay? We are discovering new frontiers and building Web3 ecosystems that last. Okay, when I see logos of Binance or logos of other exchanges, crypto.com, NFT, for me, that's not really a partnership. That would be a relationship where they are hosting their tokens or hosting maybe their smart contract or hosting their NFTs. It's not necessarily that's a partnership per se, okay? So we got to be really critical nowadays. It's unfortunate. I'm noticing that particularly with small projects, they take every opportunity to post logos. And sometimes those logos are quite deceiving. Now, I'm not saying it's not valuable that this project is EVM compatible, that it can be listed on Binance, Smart Chain, Ethereum, and, available on Uniswap and PancakeSwap, who knows how many, all that's great stuff. But ultimately, they're not partners. It's an open public network, right? Anybody can deploy on there and anybody can deploy. So when that's the case, it's not an exclusive strategic partnership, and I don't see any value with putting some of these. Like, I don't even know what this one is, but that could be great. That's fine. But the majority of this is, Cointelegraph. Like, it's great, fine, but it's publicity. That's what that is. Latest news. Let's see what's going on here. We got earn cash in citizen conflict. So that's the citizen conflict token, and the QORPO world is the bigger, broader token. And of course, there's going to be an ecosystem type of currency or an exchange where you can kind of go back and forth. Introducing the QORPO spinner. You can spin and earn. That's pretty cool. Okay, fine. I like this. I think it moves a little bit too fast, but that's that. What else is staking, aka QORPO Power? We talked about this staking platform news, and this is the token right now, and that concludes the website. So we can say a couple of things here. Number one, it's very visual appealing, extremely visual appealing. It's quite, it has a lot of information. Really good. I don't think it's too distracting. I think the website is great, especially if you're talking about a gaming project. This is not DeFi, right? We're not talking about banking or anything like that, right? Financial services. We're talking about gaming. So bring it. Look at all this. This is great. Now, if we jump right into the white papers, guys, let's go do that. Let's see. I'm going to just clearly state real quick that the white papers, this is beyond white paper, guys. I've never read a white paper with such detail. Like, there's a lot happening on this white paper. It's more than, it's a business plan, it's a marketing plan, it's a SWOT analysis, it's a market, it's everything, guys. There's so much here to the point that maybe it's a bit of too much. Now, I'm not saying that. I know it sounds kind of weird because I like lots of information, you guys know that, but I also like information to be organized, because then when there's too much information and you can't get through what you really need, things get difficult. Now, I like Git books. Okay, Git books are legit because it allows you to navigate information a lot easier. There's search functions, there's a legend or a table of contents that you can click really easily. This, white paper is a PDF. It's a little bit, it's very fixed and not very fluid. So I would suggest, obviously, that the white paper stays. This PDF can stay, obviously, because the visuals are epic. But I would strategically pick the important things out of this paper, and we're gonna go through it a little bit here because it's quite large, 55 pages. I'm not gonna go through it in too much detail here, but I'll show you what I mean about some of the details. They should pick out some of the important things and put them in a Git book. Like, for example, maybe some information about ecosystem, maybe a little intro, small intro, tokenomics for sure, token distribution for sure, maybe a little bit of their business model. Okay, maybe a little bit, because how are they earning, which is very important here for this project. They have a real clean plan about how they're earning. Roadmap, again, maybe put that on the team. These are very important things, but there's a lot of extra information that takes up multiple pages. Okay, so like the market research, for example, that's great, but it's not typical of a white paper from a crypto project. Just keep in mind, guys, I'm up to almost 80 deep dives. I do one per week. I've been doing this for a few years now, and ultimately, I never really seen such an intense white paper. So I would separate some of this stuff. Okay, so let's go through it. vision. Okay, you could read this, what their vision is. Let me just zoom out a little bit so we can see this a bit better. So their vision, obviously, what issue is there, what problem is there, and as a software solution, how are they trying to solve the problem, or how are they trying to monetize their solution for that problem? Okay, and obviously entertainment is, and being bored is a huge problem. So entertainment is great. It's a booming industry, particularly gaming, e-gaming, esports, all of that is hot. We know that. So I'm not going to get into that too much. They talk about opportunity. The gaming market is a multi-billion-dollar market. We're aware of this. We know the trend. We get it. Obviously, read that a little bit more. The QORPO advantage. What are they offering? Of course, esports, democratizing esports. Our gaming platform facilitates transparent, secure trading of in-game assets and items. Guys, this is what we're talking about when we're talking about, in a way, a DeFi type of thing. Because, of course, we talk about NFTs as a non-fungible token, but at the end of the day, they're valuable assets, and we should be able to trade those in a very decentralized open source platform. And this is what they're trying to offer, a platform where the games that they build have their assets, and we could trade those on an open marketplace. This is typical. This is great. This is what we want. You can see EVM compatibility means that they can be deployed on multiple chains that use the Ethereum virtual machine, Polygon, BNB, Ethereum. In the future, so many more. We got Immutable X and so many things happening here with regards to the EVM compatibility, right? So that's good. What else is up here? We can still observe outcomes. Okay, so that's fine. The IPs, they have 2 already. That's fine. Opportunity, QORPO Game Studios. See, there's a little bit of repetition. European blockchain game developer on the mission, bringing AAA quality ecosystem. The Unreal Engine is a good one. They see QORPO Game Studios building a revolutionary blockchain ecosystem with 400,000 users. And I guess this might be a little bit outdated, guys, so it could even be more at this point. We're talking about conflict, citizen conflict, and animate, if I'm saying that correctly. Let's keep on going down. You see there's other titles, Overwatch, Horizon. Their team has been involved with some really good AAA games. I could attest to the fact that with my research, I did note that the team is very, very intertwined with the gaming industry and has lots of experience, okay? But we gotta I want to make a statement later on when we talk about the team, with regards to their overall package. I think there could be an area of improvement. We'll get to that next. Stay tuned, guys. Let's keep on going down. We'll get to the important stuff. I still want to get an idea of what this project is about, and you can see we're 7 pages in. I'm going to do my best. Seamless ecosystem. Okay, we know that the ecosystem is big. What are we talking about? We have the QORPO world, that is the entire ecosystem in general. You can see the QORPO ecosystem. We have the QORPO identity, and this put ecosystem, multi-chain wallet, and at the same time authenticator. So again, we're gonna have to have a wallet. We're gonna have to have some sort of presence, on-game presence, and again, within an ecosystem, that presence will allow you to navigate each of these games and be a part of these games, have that identity within these games. So GameFi marketplace, okay, benefits with the QORPO world, lots of good stuff here. Security, convenience, utility. And we're going to talk about the utility features. QORPO world, you have your wallet, governance. Okay, this is also important. If you're holding the tokens, you can be part of the governance. You can be part of the community. There are always ongoing questions about the development, design, and market topics, and you can get in there and have an opinion and vote and do certain things there. So, which is good. Drops and campaigns, esports management. So you could see this is a full-on ecosystem. That token is being put to work. There's a lot happening there, right? So we have high-quality titles built in Unreal Engine. Okay, again, I'm going to skim through this because we already talked about citizen conflict. Okay, you can look up that more. Animate, you can look at the details here and read through that. I'll talk about animate a little bit more. You can see that. Unique selling points, okay, all the different aspects about, what makes it a potential market profit maker. Target audience, you can see this starts to get into a real business plan type of white paper, which is far and beyond what I consider a white paper. And what I've seen in the last 80 deep dives or so, I've never seen a white paper like this. I'm not saying that this is not valuable information. I just think that the really crypto related information needs to be put in a separate Git book. And I'm just repeating that again. Market research and industry insights, guys. We know, okay, we're growing $1 billion, lots of money being placed into the gaming. Look, Asia and North America, Europe and Latin America, you get it. Okay, so there's a lot of money to be made. We want to get some of that market cap into QORPO. Basically, the market opportunity, like I mentioned, more repetition, more stats. I'm going to quickly go through this. Gameplay enhancement, lots of stuff here. We're trying to prove that they have the right industry and that they have the potential to attract capital out of that industry. That's important. Market research, competitors, and market demand. I found this a little bit interesting because they identify their competition. Where is that? I saw esports. They do identify their competition. They had one stating that Gala Games was their competition and so on. And I find that interesting because Gala Games is pretty big. Look, competitors per product: Gala Games, Illuvium, and Shrapnel. Okay, so some bigger than others. Okay, these are ecosystem. This is a massive ecosystem, an OG ecosystem, and basically comparing Gala with QORPO is an interesting one. Why? Because if we're going to compare, we're going to assume that QORPO has the capabilities of catching up to Gala's market cap. And this is one thing that, a lot of the times when I do deep dives and I tell you my projections or my price targets, I only do it based on using competitors. Like, could QORPO catch up to Gala? Right? Could QORPO catch up to Illuvium? Could QORPO, and maybe not QORPO, but in this case, Citizen Conflict, and in this case, Animate and Illuvium, could they their competitors, could we attract some of their market cap or basically take some of the market cap here? And if that's the case, we can see some major gains here for QORPO. Now, that's up to you, right? To look into the details here about the fundamentals and then make that critique. But ultimately, if QORPO is meant to compete with Gala and QORPO does everything that it needs to do correctly to compete with Gala, guys, we're talking about massive gains here, if that's the case. And this is something that you got to consider. Now, does it have to happen in one, cycle? It could be a multi-cycle agenda. It doesn't have to be one bull run, one cycle scenario, like top of the bull market catching up to Gala, thousands of percent. That might happen. Who knows, right? This is crypto, wild west. But ultimately, the probability is no. It might not happen. Okay, so something to consider. It could do very, very well. I'm not going to say that, but to catch up to Gala, that's a huge statement. Okay, I'm just saying that. And even Gala has been cooled off for the last little while, so we got to understand where Gala's coming from as well. And let's keep on going on. I see Ratchet and Clank, Web2 titles, Animate. These are competitors, I guess. And if you kind of think about it, if you played Ratchet and Clank and Pokemon, I don't know this game, but if you kind of put those two games together, it does look like the Animate game itself. So what they're trying to say is, look, these games, if we were very successful, then we could be successful too. To be honest, that is not a good idea to always think like that. Okay, so there's a lot of other factors. So they compare themselves with Gala Games, as I mentioned, Yuga Labs, like I mentioned, and Riot Games. These are big players, and ultimately they have all their boxes checked, where Gala's game development, right? They don't develop their own games. They're a studio where they potentially bring in others to develop, and that could be the case. Free ecosystem transactions, maybe not, of course. Fiat payment solution. So you can see QORPO checks all the boxes. Okay, so again, be critical. Do you agree with this? If you do, QORPO's great. Obviously, look at that. Let's keep on going. Target audience, Web3 players, esports, and all this. Look at it. There's a lot happening here, guys. More above and beyond. Like, I'm keep on scrolling and I keep on repeating. It's above and beyond a white paper. A web to go to market strategy, community onboarding, user acquisition strategy. This is a business plan. This is not a white paper for crypto, okay? So, which is good if you want to get into those details. You guys know I appreciate the details, but if you want to know about the project itself and the token, this is not what you're looking for, right? You kind of want to, here we go. We're getting to tokenomics and things that might be a bit more interesting to us. Although those stuff are great, for sure, read it. But you know, some of it is self-explanatory. Empowering the community, enhancing gaming, and fueled by B2B solutions. So there's the QORPO token. This is what we're really interested in, right? It's minted at its ERC20, which is an Ethereum mainnet token. During the token generation, which is TGE, the total supply is 750 million. Okay, so they were generated, and there are no plans to create and mint any additional tradable tokens in the future. The token supply will only decrease over time because of the burning mechanism. So if there's 750 million QORPO tokens out there, are they fully in distribution? Are they held in a wallet? What is this wallet? How are they going to distribute? Pure earnings, basically reward structure. You know, who's in charge of the wallet? These are all important things that I wish we could kind of like, they would kind of get into a bit of detail. So in this case, you know, there's only 12% of the tokens in circulation, which we'll talk about in a second. So I would like to see a little bit of this addressed in this white paper, which I don't really see being addressed. Holders of the token will access to a range of exclusive benefits and incentives with the expansive framework, which means in the future it could be a lot more happening as the ecosystem grows. The team has meticulously crafted every aspect of the ecosystem. Fine, of course they did. Token utility. I do have a summary of the token utility, I'll be honest, but most of it comes to play. Is there a list or something? I have it all listed nicely for you guys in the infographic. This is the marketplace. So if you read this, really it's basically saying there's a lot here. You can staking and rewarding, the buyback mechanism for burning, deflationary model tied to QORPO ecosystem and B2B solutions, and so many other things right here. The utility, I think this summary that I got for you is going to really summarize everything excuse me, what they have available. But you know, feel free to read this. It's just sometimes lists in point form is much better than dragged on long-winded paragraphs about things. So this is their ecosystem. They got a wallet, NFT marketplace, game launcher, farming, conflict citizen, animate, and B2B games. Okay, so this is where you get the business-to-business solution, right? Allowing other businesses to get involved into this ecosystem, and that's quite great, because then you're going to increase the token utility by allowing developers to create software solutions on the QORPO World ecosystem, which is good. This is that. You can see tokenomics, the token economy, the NFT, lots of repetition here, guys. So token utilities, again, more repetition. You can see that this could be cut down in a very nice, succinct way. There's so much happening here. Ecosystem token, again, scalability, buyback and burn, staking. I felt like I already read something like this. Let's get to it, guys. Token utility, ecosystem token. So this is where things might be a little bit more clear. So it's an ecosystem token. Integrated into all gaming titles. So this token is basically integrated with the entire ecosystem, even though each game has their own token. Okay, let's be clear about that. Onboarding Web 2 gamers, giving them the opportunity. Token will be used as a minting currency for in-game digital assets. Platform governance. This is good because, again, there's a governance aspect, which I would love to know more about, given the fact that the token distribution leaves some area of ambiguity. Is the governance involved in the actual tokens or not? And who's in charge of the tokens that are currently not in complete circulation? Are they being held by a wallet? Is it a multi-sig? What is what is going on there? So, that leaves a little bit of an area of worry to me. Medium of exchange, of course, again, a token as a currency, buyback and burn, a burning mechanism to basically decrease the circulating supply over time. Therefore, supply decreases while demand increases. The price should basically move up. So that's good. Scalability into B2B, like we mentioned, expansion strategy in the coming years. There will be consistently conditions linked to the QORPO token economy. Gamer partners joining the platform will be required to offer additional utilities. So basically, token utility will increase given that more developers will come on board, business to business. Staking, we talked about that 30% APY. That looks overly healthy. Players' incentives. And again, the last but not least, probably the most important thing to me is obviously the retail investor, and obviously the way we get a mass adoption happening is getting players involved, and the players have to have some sort of incentive to keep on playing, or else the rest of this has no use, right? There's no need for it. So player incentives, you got to be able to earn appropriately. Okay, so that's pretty good. Staking, they talk about that. Feel free to get into that. I'm not going to get into too much of that. Be careful with staking. Of course, always understand that staking, you know, there's a bit of risk there. Nothing is secure. How does the success of the gaming impact the token? Of course, more jargon, more explanation, more talking here, guys. Feel free to read this through. I'm not getting into that. And the revenue model. So this is important too. Guys, I'm going to spend a minute here because really, I've been doing lots of research. Obviously, you guys know I do deep dives, a lot of deep dives. And one of the biggest issues is monetization. And a lot of these blockchains don't have any revenue stream, right? So they expect people to join and be a part of an ecosystem. And they expect that people get rewarded. But then we also have to understand is where is these rewards coming from? Usually when it's a small project or up and coming project, the revenue comes from, or the rewards come from a pool of initial capital that was raised. And unfortunately, a lot of these projects do not have an earning mechanism where instead of, you know, tapping into the pool and slowly issuing tokens and diluting the amount of capital on hand, they should be finding ways to monetize so that ultimately the way people earn is from the earnings or the revenue that they receive from their ecosystem. Now, sometimes I know projects are very small; they're not able to earn at the current moment, and they just tap into, you know, the liquidity of the available liquidity for the project, which is not the greatest, guys, because overall you're just selling off liquidity. That's basically stakeholders get all the value, and it's not a good thing. So I like the fact that they have a strong idea of how they're going to generate revenue generated in stable coins or native chain tokens, BNB, ETH, etc. They have game revenue, battle passes, loot boxes, season loot boxes. They're earning money. Ecosystem revenue, royalties, advertisements, tournament fees. They're making money. Revenue is stable coin or native coin tokens. Okay, this is how they're going to receive it. And guess what? The buyback and burn, investing and staking. This is good because instead of, like I said, getting into the capital that they have saved in order to make this project successful, they are focusing also on how they can earn. And then the company treasury gets a bit of marketing, gets a bit of development, and the players get incentives and so on and so forth. So this revenue is a big part of how they're going to sustain their growth rather than relying on the available liquidity on a wallet that they have, that they've earned, that they've collected earlier on in TGE. They're not going to dilute all of that, which is great. They're not going to be spending capital that they're not earning. And this is a great way to think about it. It's a working business. Now, of course, the project is very small, very, very small. Now, are they actually profitable at this stage? I don't know, but it would be nice to see that instead of tapping into that liquidity, they're using those profits to pour it back right into their ecosystem. And for me, that's a great step forward. Like I said, this white paper is a business plan. It's much more than a white paper, in my opinion. Token distribution, you can see that this is a little iffy here, guys. This is what bothers me a little bit about this. If you we go through this distribution, you can see the team and advisors have 20%. The strategic round is an early stakeholder. So basically, team and advisor, same concept, same idea, same early investor concept. Okay, so something that we really can have to think about. Exchange liquidity, approximately, that's not about a lot because they're not on big exchanges. So only 3% and a bit. Private sale, this is an issue. Private sale is equivalent to strategic round and teams. These people got in early. They're early stakeholders. Community rewards and acquisition. What is that? Okay, maybe this is a lot, 33%. Who's in charge of this? Is this part of the DAO? Is there an official DAO, or is it just a voting mechanism, or what is going on here? Who's in control of the majority of the pie here? Just keep in mind the majority of the pie, okay? Marketing partners, okay? So strategic partners, strategic team. This is a team. This is part of the advisor. This is part of the early stakeholders. Ecosystem fund. Who's in charge of this ecosystem fund? Is it part of, again, the DAO, or is the team in charge of it? It's only 5%. But once you look at all of these little numbers, public sale, okay, it's only 1%. Seed sale, okay, 3%. You add up all of this, you're going to see that a good portion of the token allocation, about 50%, is allocated to early strategic investors. right? That's the early stakeholders. That's a little bit of an issue. These people got in early. These people are heavyweights within the team, within the ecosystem, and not people like you and I, retail investors, right? So this puts a little bit of pressure. And then the liquidity here that's available for community, I question who's in charge and how this works. Is it purely rewards-based system or not? Now, if we look at some other aspects, of course, you can see how it totals 100%. Reflect on these numbers. You can see that it's not really that balanced. Only 33% is fair launch or for the community. The rest of it is like, okay, where does it land in the sense of decentralization? Is it centralized to one major authority or not? And again, that's what kind of bothers me here. NFTs, we can jump right in NFTs, the ecosystem. Again, NFTs and Web3 economy. NFTs are a big part of it, so feel free to read that. I think NFTs and that the connotation that NFTs have nowadays is still, a bit of PTSD there. Leaderboard mechanism and so on, guys. There's a lot here. Seasonal leaderboard. I don't know, mechanism. Again, repetition. QORPO box. You can buy a box, and based on the size of the box that you have, you'll earn certain rewards. Again, the box is going to be an NFT, and if you're a holder of that NFT, you'll definitely get rewarded. QORPO B2C, business to customer or consumer. The studio will generate revenue by selling digital assets, NFTs related to the battle pass, loot boxes, in-game characters, weapons, skins. We talked about all of this. There's going to be a marketplace for people like you and I, but also there's going to be a marketplace for businesses, right? In-game advertising, branding, tournaments, licensing, modular game framework, startup companies, and the list goes on. You could read all of the ways they are planning to generate or get involved with other businesses to increase the ecosystem's growth, and in addition to that, earn. Okay, we talked about their earning strategy, and if you recall, it did involve a lot of business-to-business involvement. Technology and innovation. Okay, it's listed on. It's uses the Binance Smart Chain. Okay, there's a contract there. Unreal Engine. This is the different story. Okay, fine. They're using a very typical engine, a very used engine across the gaming field. Unreal Engine 5 to produce high-quality, mind-blowing graphics. Essentially. Blockchain technology, okay, like we mentioned, Immutable X is a big part of the gaming world as an infrastructure, NFTs and so on, so this is good. And Polygon, another layer 2 scaling platform where a lot of projects are being built. Okay, so it's not really a partnership, just letting you know that that is a capability, right? Again, Ethereum being part of the Ethereum virtual machine, of course, they're going to be on mainnet and Polyhead network. I'm not sure. AWS, guys, when I see AWS, it's cringe. It bothers me so much. Why even put that there? I know why, because ultimately it feels like that's what they're using, right? So let's talk about this. AWS is a leading comprehensive evolving cloud computing platform provided by Amazon that includes a mixture of all of this: platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, and packaged software as a service offering. Ultimately, I don't care about any of that. What I care about is that AWS is a centralized ecosystem, a centralized infrastructure. Bothersome to me, very bothersome, because then we're relying on AWS to maintain itself in good standing. I would have preferred to see everything that they need with regards to all this software as a service and all this infrastructure in a partnership with a DeepIn project. There are lots of crypto projects that would love to collaborate in such a way to offer a decentralized infrastructure rather than relying on AWS. So that is an area of improvement that is dire for me. Whenever I see even AI projects, use cloud-based services like Google Cloud and Microsoft Azure or AWS, it bothers me significantly because we know the issues with centralized infrastructures. So there's an area of improvement here, and they better take advantage of that, because really, I don't like that personally. Anchor is a decentralized blockchain infrastructure, nodes, and all that, of course. Data aggregation and so on. That's a good one. It's a well-known brand in the crypto space. So that's fine. NPC, so some Quest Q&As, QORPO Studio, artificial intelligence. This is, their attempt to integrate AI. And we're seeing this to be a trend across the market where a lot of projects are trying their best to jump on the AI bandwagon. to be honest, AI bandwagon is easy to jump on. Why? Because AI can be integrated in many facets of everyday life, right, including gaming. So I don't blame them to pivot a little bit into AI and ask themselves how they can integrate AI within the gaming ecosystems, and obviously improve, even if it is the gaming experience or even the modeling or whatever the case may be, right? To integrate AI into their product offerings would be obviously, you know, a good way to pivot ultimately. But again, it's got to be in a decentralized way. Like I mentioned, I don't believe in centralized services in any shape, way, or form in crypto projects. They need to embrace crypto through and through, because then there's a level of there's a choke point there, in my opinion. QORPO Game Studio and artificial intelligence. More information here. Feel free to check that out. Then we jump into the roadmap. Good news is lots of check marks. Bad news is that these check marks need to be ticked, and we need a few more milestones going forward. The thing is that we're not yet in 2025 yet. So, you know what? We got a few more happening here that we could, you know, kind of wait for. So they did future-proof this a little bit, but an update would be great. And ultimately maybe some revisions here to make sure that it's up to date. I don't know when this thing was written. It doesn't seem new, but given the fact that it's, you know, check mark, the last check mark was in the fourth quarter of 2023. So that means that maybe this thing's over a year old. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Again, more Epic Store launched an Epic Store. That's a fact, which is good, and more logos everywhere. Again, those kind of bother me because they don't really add too much value. But investors, okay, this is valuable because ultimately when we have venture capital, they have a pool of liquidity to pull from to reward people and to spend on marketing and this and that and get listed on exchanges. And we got a lot of them, right? Magnus Capital, Maven Capital, Basics Capital, anything, anywhere you see capital or ventures or investors or those types of words, associates sometimes, you can see that they're VCs. Okay, they're VCs. Now, I know there's a little bit of bitterness in the space with regards to VCs, but I'm going to let you know that we kind of need them, guys, especially now where we are in this cycle. VCs are the individuals that are going to propel these projects to the next level. Yes, they will take heavy profits at the top of the bull run. So what does that mean for you? You have to also follow the smart money and take heavy profits when you see things overly frothy, because these guys are here to make capital. They're not here to become gamers. They don't care about gaming particularly. They care about QORPO making money, so they can take their initial investment off the table and make a risky scenario in a risk-free but profitable scenario as soon as possible. Okay, so we got to understand their objective. Their objective has nothing to do with gaming. Their objective has to flip that capital that they gave a QORPO and into some profitable scenarios. Okay, so this is good. They got working capital. Let's get this going. But again, be careful. The dip will be hard in the bear market. Okay, lots of gaming partners. To be honest, I'm not a gamer. I'm not a big gamer, so I don't know much about what's going on here, but I do see a lot of logos, pretty decent. I can identify big ones when I see them, but I really don't see any big names here, okay? But again, they could be mid, they could be small, but many. They could still be up and coming. They could be hot projects. I think I saw this before, but you get what I mean. At least they got something going. Guys, remember, this is a small market cap project. Any partnerships within the gaming space is valuable for a small entity, right? So not bad here, and you can see that there's a lot more here happening below. Pretty good, I guess. Let me know in the comment section what you think about all these. Are they good? Are they individuals that you're that you can relate to? Are they valuable? The core team. Okay, so I'm gonna quickly talk about the team. Honestly, there's nothing major to talk about. I did kind of like scrape through what they offer as their synopsis here, as you can see, and I also did look into, this is the core team, the people that are the artists and the developers and the head of character artists. Okay, but again, when we talk about the major founders and the co-founders and the top executives of any project, we start to think, what value do they bring? And sometimes they don't bring value directly related to the industry that they're trying to spearhead, which is crypto. And you can see that really there are a lot of gaming. There's a lot of gaming happening here, and if you read their identities, and I went into their LinkedIn accounts. If I can get this loaded, you can see I went through all of their previous work experience and so on. Lots of gaming happening here. Development scratch. Okay, that's why we're here, to elevate the project. You can see chief executive officer, Black Swan DAO, a bit of crypto stuff happening there. Decentralized autonomous organization, but you can see the founder, full-time founder. And if you keep on going down, you can get some information from their skill set, but nothing major in crypto. Like, I'm not saying anything like crazy crypto, but very gaming related. And if you keep on going down here, you can see again a business advisor, Black Swan DAO, self-employed, and QORPO. Like, these guys seem like they have some gaming experience, or maybe they just have experience, or maybe they're just VCs, or maybe they just got the capital. Maybe they're business guys. Look at this, head of micro and small enterprise segment. You know, hungry, okay, but what else have they got? Manager, a banker, founded. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, there's nothing here that jumps out at me and says, you know, Web3, crypto, anything like that. Maybe a bit of gaming here and there, which I can see already. But then I stumbled upon this individual, which he's apparently at this current moment the main blockchain enthusiast and Python developer, student of faculty of informatics and information technologies, backend blockchain developer at QORPO. So if, in my opinion, all those other individuals are great, obviously, as business entrepreneurs, gaming executives, and all of that. As a crypto project, we need to have secure talent within the crypto space, right? Because we want to make sure that this project, that QORPO, is not a gaming project just trying to slap a token on it, right? And I've seen many projects do that. They take very traditional Web 2 applications and just slap a token on it. And that's not what crypto is all about. And we got to make sure that we hold these teams very accountable, and understanding that there's other factors. Like when I see AWS, I see Web 2. Right, that's the problem. Now, we need to ensure that these guys understand that we need to get away from AWS and get on a decentralized infrastructure altogether. If they don't want to have their own, they need to partner up with somebody within the space. There's tons of projects out there. So this dude right here, he seems very young, very the beginning of his career potentially. He's educated within computer science, information technology, which is good. He's right now part-time. That bothers me. He should be full-time. He should be a star right now, because he needs to be the one, spearheading the entry or the transition from Web 2 to Web 3. So in my opinion, this is something that I'm a bit concerned about with the team. And if you notice, all the other team members don't have much related, unless they do, and they don't put it here, which again, and a lot of this is in banking, okay, which is good, and that's about it. Like, there's nothing else really happening here. Again, Black Swan DAO, okay, advisor. Like, what does that have to do with anything, like with gaming or anything? So I feel like a lot of the times, there's heavyweight individuals that see an opportunity, they join together and they hire all the talent. We just got to make sure that talent is being hired. Now, what I do want to show you is that there's a lot of people on this team. Okay, and another game developer. I was going to talk about this dude, but I think that he's one of the other ones that are spearheading the tech. And as far as that goes, that's good. We have a game studio designer, which is great. And again, these are the major guys: marketing, strategy, financial reporting. You can get my point. Like, he's a CEO, and he has nothing to do with crypto or gaming per se, and that's something that, but the rest of the team does. Look, game studio, office manager, okay, fine. Co-founder, game built next. I don't see much happening here. Chief business officer, again, gaming studio, business individual. And then we have artist, 3D artist. So the team is stacked, but not the founders. The founders, they're stacked in their own way. Business guys. And again, we need that. We definitely need that. VCs, we need those guys. We need that to make this project fly and succeed. But at least they were able to identify that need the talent. I just feel like crypto is underrepresented here. Okay, that's my side note. I feel like crypto is underrepresented, and it should have a little bit more emphasis. All right, guys, that's the team. I will look through them all. Feel free to go check them out. They're fully doxed, which is healthy. And if you go on the socials, they're quite active. They're there. They got 237,000 followers. They got some good posts, very engaging posts, and which is great, of course. When it comes to gaming, we need that engagement, that visual, and of course those guys are definitely doing those AMAs and lots of conversations online and so on. Look at the graphics, guys. Beautiful game, lots of good stuff. Okay, so that's that. Now of course, but before we get into any charts, I know you want to talk about price action. Let me do a quick summary for you guys. I'm going to post this infographic on the socials after this video gets posted. Let's do a quick summary for those of you guys that just want a quick summary. You can always check those timestamps in the comment section, in the description below. Ecosystem. You got the QORPO world ecosystem, and then you have the citizen, conflict, and animate ecosystem, or games that provide to that ecosystem. It's a massive ecosystem. There's a lot happening here. 10 out of 10. Go check it out. There's lots of stuff there happening within the QORPO world. Okay, utility. There's a lot. Again, they put that token to work. Ecosystem token, onboarding Web2 gamers, platform governance, medium of exchange, buyback and burn, scalability into Web2, staking, player incentives, and a lot of little things in between. Good stuff. 10 out of 10. Roadmap, clear roadmap, many milestones achieved already, which is good. You can know that they're putting themselves to work. They have quarterly objectives, which I like, but it will need an update soon. Okay, because I feel like also that roadmap was created a while back, and even if they have the date available to us, even into late of 2025, things may have changed regardless, or maybe needs to be added or tweaked a little bit. So I feel like that whole white paper needs to be fixed altogether. It's too much for a white paper. I feel like that whole package, that PDF that they provide, is great, but they need to extract the important things that are crypto related and turn that into a real crypto white paper. And I would put that on a Git book rather than on a PDF. PDFs are very cumbersome and hard to navigate, and you can't search and so on and so forth. So I know the graphics are not there, and I know they rely heavily on graphics for engagement, but that should be a side note, personally speaking, especially after the website being built so nicely that way. The team, large team, lots of gaming experiences everywhere. As you can see, even the secondary team, lots of gaming experience and talent and graphics and this and that, good stuff, but could have a stronger blockchain representation. This, for me, is important. Remember, I do deep dives on blockchain projects, and when you have a part-time individual that seems to be new to the space, spearheading the blockchain side of things, it kind of bothers me. When you have a full team of massive individuals, like a huge team with lots of talent, and the industry that they're trying to basically penetrate, they don't have somebody there full time, leading that. It kind of bothers me, to be honest. So either the LinkedIn or whatever is outdated, either maybe there is somebody that I wasn't able to find. They should be front, right, and center on that white paper, because really people like you and I that are here in the crypto space to invest into projects that are meant to be Web3 want to know who is spearheading the Web3 aspect of a gaming project, not just the studio, not just the game developer, because those are obviously important individuals, but the blockchain software solution backend programmer, developer, enthusiast, and the individuals that are making the decisions which blockchain to deploy on, if there's going to be a bridge or onto a different chain, and who's going to make that decision. All of these kind of things, we need to know who that individual is. So the team is lacking that presence, in my opinion. From a social perspective, followers are decent, like I mentioned. However, they're coming down for some reason, especially in this moment. They should be doing really good. They're down 3,000 plus followers in the last 30 days, down 147%. That's kind of bothersome to me, because they should be moving up, and they're posting 441 X posts in the last 30 days. Okay, they're down 35%. So just imagine how much they posted the previous month. But still, you would think that they would be going up in followers, unless there's a lot of they're spamming, unless the posts are engagement farming, unless the posts are overly done and overly overwhelming, and people start blocking and unfollowing. And this is something that they could be using old marketing strategies in order to gain followers on X. And this is usually what results to people unfollowing because they're annoyed. So I'm not going to critique their social presence in that case, because again, their marketing team needs to be on point. But when you look at the numbers here, why are they dropping in followers when they are actively posting on X? Either their posts are really bad and they're really intrusive and they're spam like, or I don't know what's going on there, guys. Like that, their marketing team needs to wake up a little bit here. Okay, so that's concerning to me. Tokenomics, no emission schedule or anything like that. Like what's happening with the emissions? Like I know that they claim that the tokens are all basically released and minted and things like that, but there's a lot of confusion there because only 12% are in circulation. So what happens to the rest of them? How are they going to be deployed to the market? We need clarity here. They provide so much clarity in so many things that to the where it mattered, they didn't really get into that detail. And this is why I say that Git book is necessary, guys. Get into the detail where it really matters on that Git book ASAP, as soon as possible. That's what I would do. Of course, you know, I do this for a living, so I would definitely consider doing that. Tokenomics, again, emissions, so staking rewards, player incentives, and a lot happening there. Yeah, that's the thing. Staking rewards are great and player incentives are good, but you know, the rewards are scary. Those staking rewards with 30% kind of bother me, and the player incentives are awesome, but 33%, who's in control? Who decides on all of that? You know, is it purely based on rewards or not? So I kind of want a little bit more information about how those tokenomics get played into the scheme of things. Many gaming partners, which is good, and VCs, tons of them. Now, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I think that it's a mixture of both. Ultimately, VCs offer a lot of value to a new project, right? Getting them going. They need those marketing dollars, they need the liquidity to get listed and all of that. But gaming partners are great, small but many, and again, I'm not sure too much about them, but they look like they're in good hands as far as that relationship. I would like to see more mainstream, maybe one or two more mainstream partnerships, but again, I'm not a big gamer, so I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 there. 4 out of 10 for exchange listings. Now, this is a good thing or maybe a bad thing. Good thing is there's a lot of room for listing. Guys, Coinbase, Binance, and even others like CoinX and BitGet, and there's so many that could also add to this and bring it to 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10. But really what would make this go to 10 out of 10 is Coinbase and Binance. Okay, so there's opportunity there for obviously an exchange listing. Now, if we quickly look into the numbers here, you can see that the market cap is only the market cap is very small, very, very small, $7 million market cap, guys. This is a baby cap. This is like really, really small. Trading volume is almost, you know, very little. It's only $90,000 worth of trading volume. 1% of it, of the market, 1% of the market cap. Very little trading volume, very little market cap, very, very speculative, very, very, you know, type of thing. Supply, 12% is in circulation. Max supply is 750. So the thing is that the total supply is 750. They have the tokens are out there apparently, but they're not in circulation completely. And this is where the discrepancy is. You know, in language, a CoinGecko says that 12% is in circulation. That's what the retail investor is going to go by. And really, is that the case? And if it's the case, how are these tokens getting emitted? So we need clarity here, guys. You know, focus, because that white paper has a lot of stuff there, but without focus on the where things matter. Fully diluted, $57 million, guys. That's a baby. There's lots of opportunity for growth here. You see the difference between the overall market cap and the fully diluted value is spread quite a bit, because there's a lot of tokens that still need to enter circulation. So keep that in mind, that the risk of dilution is there. VCs get paid. Everybody, early investors, early stakeholders, which I already explained to you, that represents 50% of the liquidity. They get paid. They start diluting and they start selling off, but I don't think they're going to sell now. I think the majority of the sell-off will happen when we see Ethereum get into all-time highs in price discovery, and we see all the altcoins in euphoric stages of the market. Okay, so my overall verdict, guys, let's kind of summarize here quick. 1, it's a gaming project on Ethereum. It has a nice detailed white paper. Gitbook with vital information would be useful. Let's separate, extract all that valuable information and put it in a Gitbook that could be easily updated as we go along. 33% are for the community, which is good. 50% are for early stakeholders, more or less, which is bothersome to me because I don't know when they're going to be getting tokens. Do they already have these tokens? Are they locked or not locked? What's going on with all those tokens? And what is the risk of dilution here of all of that? Okay, I want to know, right? Obviously we want to know. Monetization plan is clear, which is very good. I've seen many projects have no idea and have no plan on how they're going to monetize their ecosystem in order to not rely on the liquidity that is available that was provided by VCs, right? They are able to earn and obviously recycle that capital back into their economy, which is exactly what we need here. They are also trying to integrate AI into their value proposition, which is healthy. Of course, we've seen lots of projects want to do that in the crypto space lately. We just got to make sure it's not vaporware. And as long as they have a centralized AWS infrastructure, I remain very hesitant here because I don't support centralized infrastructures at all. This is crypto. And if there is a team member out there, which the team is docked, that is leading the crypto side of things, they should be advocating for decentralizing their infrastructure to the max. I've seen other gaming platforms, ecosystems that have decentralized infrastructures. If they want to compete, they need to get on board with that ASAP. How are they posting so much and losing followers? That's concerning. Telegram has some activity, not too much, but some. Discord is very complex, and the general chat is not clearly defined. I went on the Discord. I wanted to, have a chat with the community. I don't even know where to go, guys. There's so many different channels and different things. And guys, less is more sometimes, number one. And number two, I wish to see a little bit more engagement across the community, to be honest. Now, as far as my target, okay, I'm gonna start changing what I say here as far as target. It's a projection. Okay, from going on forward, I'm gonna be changing the title of this. It's gonna be a projection target. Projections are much different than me saying, it's gonna hit this price. I don't know where it's gonna go, guys. I don't have a crystal ball, but I can tell you this: if everything goes well, if they do everything that they need to do to attract the correct amount of capital from the total market cap of the crypto space and compete with Gala, they could easily run up 162x, which is crazy. I know those of you that are out there listening to me right now are probably saying, Mike, you're nuts. I know it sounds crazy. Number one, the crypto space is a crazy one. Let's be real about that. Number two, is it possible in this cycle? Maybe. But maybe not. Maybe it needs a couple of cycles. All I know is if I'm going to be comparing this project with Gala, which they do themselves, it might do 162x to achieve that, which would bring it to above $12.40. Now, right underneath it, if we look at PYRR, Vulcan Forged, is another potential scenario where it could potentially get to, which is, a more reasonable target, maybe a 10x. Maybe there's a little bit more. Maybe we hit around $2, guys. For me, that would be a more reasonable thing to do. Maybe a 10 to 20x, and we see this thing do really well. Ultimately, could do more, but I'm not here to say that. All I'm here to say is the competitors out there, via market cap and via what they've achieved in previous cycles, I could see QORPO doing a pretty good 20x and reaching a $2 mark and still do very well and call it a day for this bull run. So we got to be modest here. I could say it goes to Gala. I could say it hits Vulcan Forge. I could say all of these things, but the reality is we got to wait for the market to find its equilibrium price and give a true value to what QORPO is really worth. And I could see, based on the historical price action of gaming projects and gaming studios like a Gala, that it could definitely hit a $2 mark, especially at a $7 million market cap, guys. So I rank it 7 out of 10 because there are things that I feel like need to be a little bit addressed here, but ultimately pretty good. All right, guys, I know you're here to talk about price action, so let's begin. Let's see what's going on here with the QORPO price. It's kind of falling still. It's kind of falling. I feel like ultimately there's a lot of risk at the current moment. However, without any risk, there is no reward. So let's take a look at this in a bit more detail. Generally speaking, when I look at bottom prices like this, I think to myself, when else is there going to be a moment to take risk better than now? And you know, when I look at this, it's like, yeah, it is possibly the best time to take a bit of risk here. You know, we did get a bit of a wick down here. Let me zoom in a little bit more. I'm looking at the daily time frame at the current moment. You can see that we did wick down a little bit and hunted a bit of liquidity, because the majority of the market put stop losses underneath here, and the market makers want to go and hunt liquidity. That's the name of the game, guys. So if you put those really tight stop losses, you know, you would have got stopped out. But then the important thing is to realize what really happened there. It was a liquidity, a hunt, a stop hunt, and just realize that what's really happening here is that maybe we got back into structure and we're ready to start moving up after that liquidity hunt. The market wants to hunt liquidity first, and then it goes in the direction that it wants to. So we could put a horizontal right here. We can put a horizontal right here, include the wicks, but you get my point. Ultimately, I like what this is doing, because you can see wicks, and I like these bodies closing the way they're closing, like this, above and within the structure of the previous low. So it's almost like we got a double bottom, and the wicks were a liquidity hunt. Maybe we can bring this down a little bit lower or something like that. You get what my point. I don't want to be that accurate, because this is a general area that kind of intrigues me. Now, if we focus on this looks great from a risk to reward ratio opportunity. Nice double bottom scenario. Maybe we do rally up. It's not confirmed at the current moment. But if we start looking at the potential breakout where we are here in this leg down, we need to give it some importance here, because we did kind of already break trend. Now, I don't use diagonals significantly. I do not. I use them for an indication of a break of trend, but ultimately it's the liquidity levels that I value the most, which is, where is the volume at? The majority of the volume right now is all the way up here. We got to be clear that this is an important zone. So let me get some more horizontals in. This is an important zone. Let's make it a bit thinner. And we also have this being an important zone, right maybe into here. This is interesting. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a red box right into here, so we can identify that, you know what, this is a volume gap. This is an opportunity. If we could break above, I would say 9.8 cents, we can snap to about 12 cents quite easily. Lack of volume. Look, straight down, straight up, slow grind downwards, but very low volume, you know, confirmed by the histogram bars down here. So empty space. Now, this is looking like a battlefield right now. And what's most interesting to me, if we're just looking at market structure, no oscillators, nothing like that, pure market structure, which you should get used to doing, we can see that from all the way up here, all we've been doing is making lower lows and lower highs. No change of character. From a price structure perspective, we want to see a change of character in the price, or else the trend is your friend. And at this current moment, the trend is saying that we are continuing to the downside, because all we're doing is making lower lows and lower highs. But what's interesting in this broadening type of wedge is that this bottom didn't really get comfortable to the bottom of this trend line, which means that slowly the dips are getting weaker and weaker. They're not continuing at the same velocity or the same strength to the downside. And what I want to see is at this level to see the change of character, where we kind of hold support here and eventually form a change of character from lower lows and lower highs to potentially breaking above this high, maybe even above this high. But I feel like a good start would break above this, even back test, get a confirmation low, a higher low after a higher high off of this high, and start looking at this as an opportunity to break this high. And then we go up here, and then we start seeing that, wait a minute, we made a high, a higher low, a higher high, a higher low, and we start changing the direction of the trend from lower lows and lower highs to higher highs and higher lows. And then we start confirming this as a pivot point structure. And pivot point structures as accumulation ranges, if you're a Wyckoff distribution accumulation trader, or you use that Wyckoff schematic to inform your decisions, usually what happens, we round off here very nice, and we slowly get into a accumulation range where we get a bit of volume happening here on the volume profile, confirmed by some volume right into here. And obviously, we start changing the direction by making a higher high or a higher low. But just keep in mind, this general area is where a lot of people get wrecked, trying to get in the best entries with the most leverage, because they want to make the most amount of money. What I would be doing is getting more confirmations here and building a position over time, so you can get in with a bit of confidence. Now, as a $7 million project, it is a micro cap. It is a very, very small micro. Let's confirm, where are we today? $7,364,581 market cap, guys. It's a baby cap. Okay, it's very, very small, which means that it's going to take its time to see the liquidity flow. We want to see that rotation, but because it's a small project, number one, we got to see the gaming narrative wake up. Number two, we got to see that rotation into small cap. So we do have some time, and we also have some time to see QORPO build its structure here and build a bit of volume in this level. And as it builds, you're going to see that volume, you're going to see market participation, and you yourself should be building some confidence in the confluence that the chart kind of gives you at this zone. So we're really early here. If you look at the oscillators, look at the momentum is definitely still at the bottom side of things. The expansion to the downside is slowly tapering upwards as the price is falling. That's a class A divergence. I'm expecting eventually to get some follow through on the purple line so that it starts to move upwards, and this expansion, very divergent, as you can see, is showing us that eventually we should track to the upside as well. We're still just very early here on QORPO. EMAs right now are facing up, right, doing pretty good. Green histogram bars doing their thing. If you kind of zoom out, you can kind of see that maybe there is a trend to the upside. As you can see, we came from all the way down here, slowly trending to the upside. Each expansion, blue expansion, is getting smaller and smaller over time, which means that ultimately the bulls are back in town. The thing is when do we get the follow through from these bulls? We need to get that structure. We need to get more bullish bids at these levels. We need more volume and more accumulation, and then finally we explode. So what would I be doing here? Personally speaking, if you're bullish on QORPO, this is what I would be doing. I would be accumulating small bags, just in case it decides to wake up overnight. Altcoin seasons are violent. They're crazy. You wake up in the morning, you're up 40%. And it could happen with a micro cap. So instead of, waiting for the absolute opportunity to be buying in all at once, I would be dabbling in. Buy yourself a small bag here, wait a week or so, see what the market is doing, buy a little bit more. If you're profitable in another asset or another project where you made some great gains, take some of that profit and rotate it into QORPO a little bit at a time, and build your position as the price action builds that pivot point structure that I talked about, that change of character that I talked about. That's what you want to be doing here, guys. This is a very typical scenario here, and obviously you're in validation of what I'm talking about. I'm sounding very bullish here, but my validation is also very clear. It's below 7.2 cents. We break below 7.2 cents, all of the accumulation that you do in here is going to be put at risk, because falling below means that we are continuing the trend, and if we come up and get rejected on this trend line and come down for another low, it's even worse, guys. So we got to be prepared for the worst case scenarios. Obviously that's the absolute worst case scenario. There's another case scenario that's not the greatest. We come down, we get back up, we backtest in spring. This would be a massive liquidity hunt. It would be an inverse head and shoulder scenario. It would be an opportunity to get in on the backtest and even the break back into structure, but ultimately for a continuation to the upside. Okay, and again, you can start zooming out and looking at where this thing can go from this potential bottom level. We have a bit of resistance right here that we have to be very aware of, that we could get a short-term rejection, and we also have some levels above with a few nodes of price action that we got to deal with, but very low volume. The majority of the volume is right here on the sell-off. You can see the sell-off right here. This is what concerns me. Where did this liquidity come from? Who sold off right at this level? Right? This is why vesting schedules and all of that kind of stuff is very, very important. Where is these tokens being allocated? Who holds what and what holds what would be very, very good here. So we know that the risk of dilution does exist. Okay, guys, so tokenomics needs a little bit more of an improvement here so we can understand what's happening. But at the end of the day, QORPO is pretty decent, guys, and the price action at the current moment, this is the time to take a bit of risk. Guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, in this deep dive video, do the channel a massive favor. Slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join the Discord, guys. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. And if you want to vote on the next deep dive that I release next week and future deep dives, join and make your request and vote on the next deep dive, because it's all up to you guys to tell me what you want me to research and I make the video. Take care, guys. See you tonight at 8 PM EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Have a good one, and don't forget, buy the dip.